Right, Shalom. Giving all praise unto Yahweh Shemashah, Shemukah HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone. And honest you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And above everybody are coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashimukah HaKodash. Giving all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashimukah HaKodash. It's going to be a relatively quick video based upon this scripture here, based upon growth and development. And not to be stagnant when it comes to this truth, because indeed the demons of comfortability, okay, the demons that come with not wanting to grow, they will soon catch up with you, okay, that way of living. You know, you come into this truth, you come in, your mindset is a certain type of way because you see the videos, right? You understand the scriptures, and you come into this truth unrefined. You come into this onto this word. You come into this word fervent as you should be, but you come in unrefined. And via the processes that the Most High put in place of adversity and challenge, and the desire that you should have to grow within the scriptures, naturally you should go through adversities, and that would refine you. Okay? And that's why the scripture says, enter ye at the straight gates, because in order to be refined, you must needs put yourself through the paces, or accept that the Most High has put you through the paces, furthermore. What's here if the scriptures within the book of Ecclesiastes, 2nd chapter? It says, my son, if you will come to serve Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, prepare your heart for temptation. And indeed, you're going to be tempted. The easiest form of temptation is going to come with, all right, look, you have the easy route. You have the easy route. Just be the same person that you was when you came into this truth. You don't study more. You don't try to push more videos. You don't push yourself when it comes to this word, because you like it easy, right? When it comes to studying, man, it's studying. It's like you're kind of afflicting your soul, because you could be doing something that the flesh likes. You could be studying the scriptures, or you could be out there playing basketball. All right, it's really a sacrifice. It's really a sacrifice, right? Or you come into this truth and you're holding posts, holding camp signs when you come into this truth, and you just want to stay at that level. Well, guess what? That's not good enough, man. The Most High requires that you be fervent and on fire for this truth. You're not entering in at the difficult path. You're kind of just being lukewarm with it, man. You're kind of being just lukewarm with it. You just want to hold signs up, or you just want to be behind the camera or whatever. You got to grow beyond that, right? You got to grow beyond that. You got to get to the point, if the Spirit wills, that you're speaking, you're teaching, breaking down the scriptures, whether it be on your own, you're breaking down, scriptures, because guess what? It might be that the camp set up in a certain type of way, and you got to play your role within the camp, but that's no reason not to be going hard for Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Man, Esau's going hard for his thing right now, man. Esau's going hard for the new order that he's trying to set up upon the face of the earth. We're supposed to be going hard for Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. You got guys out here that sit in the same place that they was 15 years ago, 20 years ago. They're in the same place, haven't grown. You haven't become more on fire for this truth. You haven't become refined in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai in your understanding of this word. And you can see the growth when you're watching brothers out there teaching, especially when you compare them to the videos that they did a few years ago. Especially when it comes to certain particular topics, man. Keisha comes up to the camp. So, all right, Keisha, man, you have a good day. You move on. 2010, we might curse Keisha out, man. You were 304. You know how it was. But you grow within this thing. You're supposed to grow. You're supposed to become a man in this thing. Remember the scripture says, remember to show yourself as a man. You become refined, man. You become refined. And you know what? When you watch these movies, especially when it's a series, when you're watching a series, okay, and you got a character, might be like a Spartacus. I like Spartacus. I watch it again every now and again. I rewatch it. You might be watching Spartacus, and you see Spartacus grow, right? You see him develop. You see him develop in the leadership position that he gains over the course of the storyline. You see he becomes refined. You see how he changes how he maneuvers. That's how you're supposed to come in this truth, man. You don't come in this truth, man, I have 7 wives, blah, 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 blah. You could do that if you want to do that. But as you become more refined and more fervent for Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, you see certain things is not expedient. And that's really what it comes down to, man. That's really what the straight gate is all about. Certain things just ain't expedient. It just ain't expedient to be out there chilling all the time, man. You gotta be on the spiritual books. Okay, like the boxers gotta they hit the bag, right? You gotta be on the spiritual bag. You gotta be on fire for your hard bar shimmy outside, man. What's Jake doing out here? Okay, what's Jake doing out here, man? Okay, you settled on your lees, right? You settled, you're chilling, you're relaxing, you're really having a good time when it comes to being a pseudo-Israelite, you know, a Saturday Israelite. You really just a, you know, at camp Israelite. But when it comes down to it, you ain't really on fire for your hard bar shimmy outside. I ain't thinking about anybody in particular, per se. I'm just speaking out here within the spirit. And that starts, you know, start first and foremost with myself, man. We all gotta be on fire for your heart about Shema Shah. We all gotta grow within this truth, man. We all gotta enter the straight gates, man. Can't be looking at this thing like, okay, all right, I'm gonna watch a couple movies, study for the scriptures, 10 minutes, man. Come on, man. Sometimes it's gonna be like that, but really, this is gotta be the focal point, which brings to remembrance that scripture where it says, "Make your eyes single." You gotta be focused on this truth. Yeah, these things we gonna tap into. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the job. Yeah, you know, I might watch the game, whatever, man. You know, what am I gonna do, man? I might do a little personal project or whatever. But guess what, man? Right, we go back onto your how about Shema outside. All right. What have I done for the Lord today? All right, let me see if I can push out there a video. Let me see if I can, you know, watch brothers teach, because that's how you stay in the spirit. That's how you stay in the spirit, man. That's entering at the state gates. Because guess what? If you're just out there, just, you know, watching twerk videos on the Instagram, or what else does Jake do? Okay, you know, you just chilling, man. You just relaxing. Okay, all the time you relaxing. You tired all the time. You know that demon. Okay, you just tired all the time. Well, you just so over analytical of your situation, which I do this. Certain things happen and you just over analyze. Yeah, that person said this and that could have meant that. You know, something happens at the job and like you just crash out. I'll be doing that sometimes, man. Right? That ain't really the way you want to be, man. That's kind of like having to focus on the wrong thing, especially when it's some leisurely activity. You gotta focus on your haba shima outside and be sincere when it comes to this truth, man. You really gotta be on point, man. You gotta really afflict your soul when it comes to the word of your haba shima outside, man. Okay, you gotta be ready to be afflicted. The more you study, the more grief you're gonna have. The more you study, the more you realize that this world is gonna be destroyed. The more time you spend in this word, the less time you're going to spend naturally, right? Naturally, if you spend more time within this word, naturally that means you spend less time doing things that the flesh wants to do. That's a difficult path. That's a path of sacrifice. And you know what's coming out, man? You're starting to really see certain cats, they ain't really, they don't really want to give up their pleasures, innit? They don't want to really give their pleasures up. They don't want to give up, their leisure. They don't want to really go hard for your hard bar shima outside. But that's all good. The scripture says, if you're lukewarm, the Most High is going to spew you out. That's what the scripture says. If you're lukewarm for your hard bar shima outside, the Most High is going to spew you out, man. You got to be on fire for this thing, man. You got to enter the straight gates, no matter how difficult it is. And really, you know what? This is one thing I realize. Most of it is just procrastination. When it comes to being, trying to edify, trying to study all of that, most of it, when it comes down to you not completing that particular task, it's just procrastination. Because I'll be honest with you, man, I'll be through sometimes, man. I'll be tired. And I go down to the camp, and the minute the camera rolls, it's like, bro, where did all this energy come from? And then you leave the camp, you're like, wait, hold on a minute, that was just a demon. Right? That was just a demon. Now, if you was to indulge in that, fatigue, so-called fatigue, which most times is just a demon, okay? I'm not saying everybody's situation is the same, but more times it's just a demon. It's like, bro, you could really put yourself in a situation where you're just unproductive. You're just relaxing all the time. You're just settled on your lease. Well, you can get spewed out. Anyways, it was kind of a bit of a rant. Hopefully it was of edification. With that, I'm going to say all praise unto Yahweh Shema Kor HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles, a great millstone, and the honest brothers that be pushing these truths in sincerity. I'll see you on the next one. Shalom.